Okay, so I was telling that this is the view that you are getting. I mean, this is the things that your project file, your project folder would contain. But these are the files that are auto-generated and are generally the system files that your Android project would use. આપણે અગત્યની અને main important file જે હોય તો that is just the app folder that we have over here, the build.gradle file that we have over here, and again we have another build.gradle file over here. So we are just concerned with all these things only. Now see, why do we have two build gradles? Now this is the build gradle that defines the different functionalities or the configuration for your app. This is inside your app folder, so it is called the app level build gradle, and this is outside your app, so this is called the project level build gradle. So these are the two build gradles that we have over here. Now here, whatever you define or whatever the repositories you mention, those are all regarding the project, I mean, that you use for the whole project. But the thing that we have over here is something that is defined for your particular app related thing. We'll see them or we'll use whenever you actually use those things. At that time we'll be concerned or we will be clear with what do those files mean. Okay, now inside the app folder, again we have some important folders like source folder, the build folder, the libs folder, etc. So પણ again this build folder has some auto generated files, some input intermediate files, some output files, some temporary files, etc. All these things are something that the system uses or generates for itself. આપણે એની સાથે કોઈ લેવા દેવા નથી. I mean, એની અંદર APK ફાઇલ તમને મળશે. If you want to directly get the APK from here, you can get the APK from here. Say for example, from the outputs you can get the APK, and from here you can get your APK file for the project. So this is why this build folder is. Now the next thing that we have is the libs. Okay, why do we have the libs folder? So conventionally, when Android was actually invented, we didn't have Android Studio as an IDE. We used to use, I mean, we were practiced to use the Eclipse IDE that we have. Some of you might have listened it, or the D2D students might also have used it. So Eclipse is something કે જેની અંદર we used to code for Android, and ત્યારે એ સમયે we didn't have Gradle files and all those things. So whenever you wanted to use some kind of libraries or the third party apps for your, or the third party files for your particular project, so at that time you used to get the jar files, and all those jar files you are supposed to put them in the libs folder. You can see here the libs folder, you are supposed to put those jar files in the libs folder. હજી પણ હવે તો જનરલી દરેક જે જૂની લાઇબ્રેરીઝ છે એનું બી થઈ ગયું હશે, મતલબ એની બી ગ્રેડલ બિલ્ડ થઈ ગઈ છે, એ લોકોએ કન્વર્ટ કરી નાખ્યું છે. બટ સ્ટીલ કોઈ એવા પ્રોજેક્ટ્સ છે કે જેની અંદર તમે કોઈ ટિપિકલી બહુ જૂની ફાઇલ યુઝ કરવાના છો અથવા બહુ જૂની લાઇબ્રેરી યુઝ કરવાના છો, તો દેટ દેર મે બી અ પોસિબિલિટી કે એની તમને ગ્રેડલ ન મળે, તો તમારે શું કરવું પડે, એની ઝાર ફાઇલ યુઝ કરવી પડે. તો એ ઝાર ફાઇલ જે હશે એને તમારે આ લિબ્સ વાળા ફોલ્ડરની અંદર મૂકવાની હોય. The next folder that we have is the source folder. Again, very important folder as per our for our requirements. Source folder is something wherein you are supposed to put the objects or the source code that you will be using, both the development one and the designing one. So this source folder again has three main folders, that is the Android test, main and test. Again આની અંદર Android test is અને test એ બંને વસ્તુ એવી છે કે જેને જે અગેન એન્ડ્રોઈડ ઓટો જનરેટ કરીને રાખેલી ફાઇલ છે જે ટેસ્ટિંગ માટે ને એ બધા માટે યુઝ થતી હોય છે. વી આર નોટ ગોઈંગ ટુ સી કે એના અંદર શું છે. આપણો જે મેઇન કન્સર્ન એટલે કે આપણું જે કોડ માટેની ફાઇલ છે that will be located into main. Okay, further seeing, main folder is again divided into three parts, that is the Java, the resource, and the Android manifest.xml. Now the Java folder is something wherein you will be putting your development codes. The resource folder is something wherein you will be putting your layout related codes, and the manifest file is something that we have already seen. This is the manifest file. See, last time I told you that I'll be showing you a manifest file. Now this is the manifest file of the project. This is the project that I have just generated. And if you want to know how to generate a project, this is how you do it. You go to file, you click on the new, and from the new you select a new project. So as I told you that there are lots of activities in the last lecture, these are the different activities that we have. Besides that, you can also see here there are different tabs, like this one is for phone and tablet. So if you are coding for phone and tablet, these are the activities that you get. If you are coding from for some wearables, that is the watches or something, then these are the activities that you get. If you are coding for TV, then this is the Android TV's layout that you get by default. Then for automotive and Android things, those are the different things that we get a support of. So we are mainly concerned with the phone and the tablet. So this is the way, these are the different activities that we have over here. And as I told you the last time, that we'll be generally using with the empty activity only. So I'll be selecting the empty activity, then I'll be clicking on next. Now here you are supposed to configure your project. That is, you are going to name your project, you are going to name the package of your project, you are going to say where do you want to store the application, you are going to select the language. As I told you that we have Java and Kotlin, both the languages, and here we are gonna use only the Java one. But you can also code in Kotlin if you are comfortable with. Okay, if you can see here that the next thing that we have here is the minimum SDK. So minimum SDK is something that allows you to code in that particular the minimum for what Android version you want to provide a support to. That is how you define the minimum SDK version. And from this, when you click on the finish, your application or your project will be created. So this is the project that I've created just now only, and these are the things that you can see in the manifest file. Okay, last time I explained all these things, that this is for allowing the backup. This defines the icon of your app, this defines the label, that the name of your app that you want to use, this defines the round icon if you are suggesting something, this defines the right to left support, this defines the theme, and this is the activity. In activity we have the intent filter, and in the intent filter we have two things, that is the name and the action. And in the name we specify this is the main activity, and in the category we specify that this is the going to be our launcher. Last time I also told you that if you want to, if you have multiple activities, and if you want some another activity to be your launcher, you just simply need to select this thing, cut it out, and paste it in that activity and slash activity thing. Clear? So this is your manifest file that you already know. Now we were concerned about this, like in Java again you have uh, things like com.example.mylearningapp. Now what is this? This is the name of the package that I have selected. You can see it over here also. In the manifest file I have package is equal to com.example.mylearningapp. So this is the package, my package, and inside the package I have a class or the activity called the main activity. Now, what is this main activity actually? Main activity is your Java file wherein you code for the development of the app. I mean, this is the core part of your application. And for the resource folder, again, we have so many folders defined here. As you can see, we have drawable, you have drawable version 24, we have a layout, we have a map. Now, if you can see here, there are different folders for map. Now, what does this mean? So the different map folders are for the different versions of the Android. Sorry, not the versions of the Android, but the versions of the mobiles that we have. I mean, you must be aware about the thing that there are lots of manufacturers, and they develop the app mobiles of different sizes and resolutions and etc. So we need to provide the support of our app in each and every screen. So for that you need to design the app such that the layout um does not change when you change the screen. Like અમુક કોઈ ફોન એવો છે કે જેની સ્ક્રીન નાની છે તો એની અંદર બધી વસ્તુ એકદમ પરફેક્ટ દેખાય, પણ કોઈ સ્ક્રીન એવી છે કે જેમ કે જેની સ્ક્રીન થોડી મોટી છે તો એની અંદર તમારું ડિઝાઇનિંગ એવું થઈ જાય કે અમુક જગ્યા ઉપર બધા વ્યૂઝ કોન્સન્ટ્રેટ થઈ જાય ને અમુક જગ્યા સાવ ખાલી રહે છે, તો દેટ ઇઝ નોટ અ ગુડ પ્રેક્ટિસ. એટલા માટે જનરલી અહીંયા જેટલા તમને મેપના ફોલ્ડર દેખાય છે એટલા જ બધા જ ફોલ્ડર ડ્રોએબલના બનવા પડે, અને સિમિલરલી લેઆઉટના પણ બનાવવા પડે. શેના માટે? તો કે દરેકની અંદર એના રિલેટેડ બધી ફાઇલ્સ જે હશે એ હશે. સપોઝ ઈ વસ્તુ તમારે ન વિચારવાની હોય કે ઈ કેવી રીતે કરવાનું હોય. મેન એનું કામ શું હોય ખબર છે કે આટલી બધી ફોલ્ડર છે ને, સપોઝ આ મિપમેપ ફોલ્ડર અને ડ્રોએબલ ફોલ્ડર, એ બંને ફોલ્ડરનું કામ એવું છે કે એની અંદર યુ આર સપોઝ ટુ પુટ ધી ઇમેજ ફાઇલ્સ ધેટ યુ આર ગોઈંગ ટુ યુઝ ઇન યોર એપ. તો એની અંદર આપણે એ બે વસ્તુઓ રાખવાની છે. તો તમારી ઇમેજ જે છે મોસ્ટલી છે ને તમારું જે યુઆઈ છે that will be changed only due to the images that you are using. So you need to use the images જે તમારા ડિઝાઇનર્સ હશે તમારા પ્રોજેક્ટ માટેના એના જે ડિઝાઇનર હોય એમને આઈડિયા હોય જ તે કે એ લોકો તમને અલગ અલગ સાઇઝની ઇમેજીસ આપે અને એ રીતે તમારે એ પર્ટિક્યુલર આખું જે ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ એક તમારી પાસે એક ઇમેજ છે તો એક ઇમેજની આટલી બધી લોકો તમને વર્ઝન આપશે 1 2 3 4 5 ને 6 there are 6 different sizes of the image that the person will provide you અને તમારે એને ઇમેજને એવી રીતે ફોલ્ડર્સમાં મૂકવાની. પછી શું થશે wherever you are using an image file અને તમે સોર્સમાં એ પર્ટિક્યુલર ઇમેજ આપી હશે તો એના રિલેટેડ એટલે કે સ્ક્રીનના હિસાબથી એન્ડ્રોઈડ એ પર્ટિક્યુલર કયા ફોલ્ડરમાંથી એને ઇમેજ ફેચ કરવી એ એની જાતે ડિફાઇન કરી દે છે. એની માટે તમારે કંઈ કરવાનું નથી, પણ ઇમેજીસ તમારે એ રીતે મૂકવી પડશે કે ભાઈ આવી રીતે કયા ફોલ્ડરની અંદર કઈ ઇમેજ આવશે એ રીતે ખાલી તમારે સ્ટોર કરવું પડશે. અને લેઆઉટ ફાઇલ્સ આપણે એક જ બનાવવાની હોય, પણ સપોઝ તમારે કોઈ તમે ટેબ્લેટ માટે પણ સપોર્ટ આપો છો તો એની માટે તમારે જે ડાયમેન્શન્સ આપશે તો એ ડાયમેન્શન માટેની તમે અલગ ફાઇલ બનાવી શકો. ઓકે, એ બધી વસ્તુ ક્યારની છે જ્યારે યુ વોન્ટ ટુ મેક એન એપ ફોર ધી ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી, ત્યારે આ બધી વસ્તુ ધ્યાન રાખવી પડે. અત્યારે when you are learning these things તમારે એટલું યાદ રાખવાનું છે કે drawable is a folder where you put your image files. Layout is a folder where you put the design files. જે ડિઝાઇન કરશો તમે જે ફાઇલ્સની એ બધી XML ફાઇલ અહીંયા આગળ લેઆઉટ ફોલ્ડરની અંદર આવશે. ને મેં જેમ તમને કીધું કે મેપમેપ ફોલ્ડર છે તો યુ વિલ બી ક્વેશ્ચનિંગ કે ભાઈ મેપમેપ અને ડ્રોએબલ બે ફોલ્ડર્સ કેમ છે ઇમેજ માટે. તો પહેલા ખાલી ડ્રોએબલ એક જ ફોલ્ડર એવું હતું કે જેની અંદર આપણે ઇમેજીસ યુઝ કરતા હતા, પણ હમણાં જે લેટેસ્ટ બધા વર્ઝન્સ એડ થતા ગયા ત્યારથી કેવું થયું છે કે ભાઈ મેપમેપ વાળું પણ એમણે નવા ફોલ્ડર્સ આપ્યા છે જેની અંદર મોસ્ટલી આપણી જે એપનું આઇકન હશે ને એ આઇકન આની અંદર મૂકવાનું આવશે. કેવી રીતે ખબર પડી તો કે મેનિફેસ્ટ ફાઇલની અંદર આપણે આઇકનની અંદર રેફરન્સ શું આપ્યો છે તો કે @mipmap અને આઈસી લોન્ચર. જો મિપમેપ વાળા ફોલ્ડરની અંદર આઈસી લોન્ચર છે ફાઇલ તો અહીંયાથી એને રિફર કરે છે. સિમિલરલી રાઉન્ડ આઇકનની અંદર પણ આઈસી લોન્ચર રાઉન્ડ વાળી ફાઇલ છે તો એ બંને વસ્તુ જે છે એ મિપમેપ વાળા તમારો જે ફોલ્ડર છે એની અંદર અવેલેબલ છે. જો બધા મિપમેપની અંદર હશે અને બધાની અંદર ચેન્જ શું હશે તો કે એનું સાઇઝની ચેન્જ હશે, એનું રિઝોલ્યુશનની ચેન્જ હશે, એટલે તમારી ફોનની જે સ્ક્રીન હશે જે રેઝોલ્યુશન હશે એ પ્રમાણે પર્ટિક્યુલર ઇમેજને ફેચ કરી લેશે. ક્લિયર? So this is the drawable folder and the mipmap folder. The next important thing over here is the values folder. Okay, this is again a very important folder કે જેની અંદર આપણા એપની અમુક ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ ફાઇલ્સ લાઈક કલરની ફાઇલ, કોઈ સ્ટ્રિંગ્સ છે એની ફાઇલ, કોઈ સ્ટાઇલ આપણે જે ઇમ્પ્લિમેન્ટ કરવાના છીએ એની ફાઇલ, એ બધી ફાઇલ્સ હશે. હવે આ 3 ફાઇલનો શું મતલબ છે? હવે એક મેઇન વસ્તુ અહીંયા આગળ એવું જોતા જજો કે આપણી જે લેઆઉટ ફાઇલ છે એ પણ XML છે અને આ જે વેલ્યુઝની ફાઇલ છે એ બધી પણ .xml માં છે. ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ કલર્સ વાળી ફાઇલ હું તમને દેખાડું તો તમે તમારા એપની અંદર જેટલા બી કલર્સ ડિફાઇન કરવાના હોય એ બધા જ કલર્સ અહીંયા આગળ મેન્શન કરી દેવાના, તો તમને ડાયરેક્ટલી એ પછી જ્યારે યુઝ કરવા છે ત્યારે યુઝ કરવા. દરેક જગ્યાએ તમારે એનું હેક્સ કોડ એનું આરજીબી ગેટ કરાવીને સેટ કરાવવું ને એવી બધી વસ્તુ ન કરવી પડે. તો એટલા માટે શું કરવાનું કે the number of colors that you are using, you just simply mention them over here and note them down over here. For example, here we have, because this is a resource thing, I mean this provides the resources for your project, that is why we have a resource and a /resource tag over here. Inside the resource and the /resource tag we have the 3 different things. Now because this is a color file, color.xml, so we'll have a tag called color and the attribute for that we have is name. Now here the tag, my color tag is along with its attribute is getting over, then I am mentioning some hex code for the color, and then here my color tag is getting over. Again I have another color tag and here the color tag is getting over, and I'm mentioning here a different hex code. Now you can see the colors over here. Are you guys getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So this is how you mention the different colors and all. Now, say for example, how many, I mean, if you have, it is generally told, I mean, it is expected that in an app you or in a web anything you use the minimum number of colors. Say for example, two or three. You don't use variety of colors in your app. So all the colors that you are going, now this is the name is equal to something, is something that you can use it yourself. I mean, you don't need, there is not a constraint that you have to use color primary or color primary dark or color accent or anything. You can name them as per your requirement. The next file that we have to see is the string file. Now this string file is something where is that is again a resource file, and here you will be mentioning all the strings that you have in your app. Say for example, you have I mean your app needs that at different points you need to show some string that is common, or that is something કે જે repeat થઈ રહી છે, તો all those strings you can write them down over here. So based on that, what you can do is all those strings will be written here, and then you can directly use them wherever you want to use them. Now this is a string file, so we have a string tag and here the slash string tag. Again we have name is equal to something, and this is the value. This is how you define the value in your XML file. So here we have string name is equal to app, and this is my string that I want to show, and this is the slash string. Again, this is something that we have already used in manifest file. In the manifest file, we saw that it showed my label. Now that is because you the app show, I mean the manifest file shows that way, but actually what we have written here over there is at the rate string slash app name. What do you mean by at the rate string? At the rate string means we are referring to the string.xml. We are talking about the string.xml, and in that string.xml we are particularly talking about the string named app name. Now here the name is equal to app name, so we are discussing about this string. So wherever I will be using string is for the string, wherever I'll be using this kind of a thing, that is at the rate string slash app name, that at all those places I will be referring to this text, that is my learning app. Are you clear with this? Are you guys clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. કોઈને question હોય તો please પૂછતા જજો સાથે સાથે. Okay, now the next thing that we are discussing over here is the style file. Okay, we have a style.xml file. Again, in this style we are going to define કે આપણી appની style કઈ હશે. તો કે style એટલે શેની વાત કરીએ છીએ આપણે? તો કે predefined ઘણી બધી આપણને styles મળે છે કે ભાઈ for example હું તમને બતાવું. Say for example આ છે, આ these are the different theme જે છે એન્ડ્રોઈડ ની અંદર, કે ભાઈ એપ થીમ છે તો એ એપ થીમ આપણે ડિફાઇન કરેલી છે. આ શું છે? બેઝ થીમ, એપ કમ્પેટ, ડાયલોગ માટેની ડાયલોગ એલર્ટ, ફિક્સ્ડ સાઇઝ, ડાર્ક એક્શન બાર, લાઇટ એક્શન બાર, એપ કમ્પેટની થીમ છે, એપ કમ્પેટ લાઇટ છે. એવી રીતે there are lots of different themes that are already available in the Android, and if you want to use them you can directly use them. But કેવી રીતે યુઝ કરવાનું? તો કે સ્ટાઇલ ફાઇલ ની અંદર style.xml ની અંદર you are supposed to name કે style name is equal to આપ્યું, અને એનું પેરેન્ટ કોણ રાખવાનું છે? તો કે એનું પેરેન્ટ આવી રીતનું રાખવાનું છે. કયું? તો કે appcompate.light.darkActionBar. And then you have to mention કે ભાઈ આ વાળા જે આ વાળું જે પ્રોજેક્ટ છે આપણું, એ પ્રોજેક્ટની અંદર આપણે કઈ રીતના મતલબ કેવું શું કલર્સ યુઝ કરવા છે. સે ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ તમે કોઈ ડ્રોએબલ્સ યુઝ કરો છો તો એ બધી મેન્શન કરી શકો. ઓલ ધોઝ થિંગ્સ યુ કેન મેન્શન ઓવર હિયર. આવી રીતે યુઝ થાય સ્ટાઇલ ફાઇલનો. અગેન આ સ્ટાઇલ ફાઇલનું મેન્શન આપણે આવી ગયું છે મેનિફેસ્ટ ફાઇલની અંદર. ક્યાં આગળ? કે એન્ડ્રોઈડ થીમમાં. એન્ડ્રોઈડ થીમ ઇઝ ઇક્વલ ટુ @style/app theme. એનો મતલબ શું થાય? તો કે style.xml ફાઇલની અંદર મેન્શન કરેલી એપ થીમ છે એ આપણે આપણી એપ્લિકેશન માટે જોઈએ છે. This is the only meaning about this line. Clear everyone? So this is the style.xml. Now અહીંયા પૂરું થાય છે આપણું એપ ફોલ્ડર, અને બે મેં તમને જે બિલ્ડ કરેલ હતી એ તો મેં તમને સમજાવી. તો ધીસ ઇઝ ધી ઓવરઓલ થિંગ્સ કે જે ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ વસ્તુઓ જે તમને ખબર હોવી જોઈએ whenever you start coding in Android. કે આ બધી વસ્તુ અહીંયાથી આવી અને અહીંયા આગળ આવી રીતે રિફર થઈ. ઓકે, yesterday I told you કે when you create a new project તો યુ સી ટુ ડિફરન્ટ થિંગ્સ. એટલે કે મારો જે પ્રોજેક્ટ મને બન્યો તો એ મને બાય ડિફોલ્ટ આટલું કોડ કરીને આપશે. અને આ મેં તમને કીધું હતું કે પહેલી જ લાઈન આપણે લખીએ છીએ સેટ કન્ટેન્ટ વ્યૂ, અને સેટ કન્ટેન્ટ વ્યૂમાં મેં ડિફાઇન કરી દીધી કઈ ફાઇલ છે કે એક્ટિવિટી અંડરસ્કોર મેઇન. એક્ટિવિટી અંડરસ્કોર મેઇન ઇઝ સમથિંગ વેરીન વી ડિફાઇન કે મારી જે એક્ટિવિટી ફાઇલ, મારી જે પ્રોજેક્ટ છે, આ જે એક્ટિવિટી છે એની અંદર મારે વ્યૂ કઈ રીતનો રાખવાનો છે. ક્લિયર? તો ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ અહીંયા આગળ મેં આનાથી શું રિફર થશે ખબર છે કે ભાઈ એન્ડ્રોઈડમાં જાવાની જે ફાઇલ છે, એટલે કે જે આપણે જે કોડ કરીએ છીએ એ કોડ જાવા મેઇન એક્ટિવિટીમાં છે, પણ એના સાથે એના રિલેટેડ આપણે જે XML અથવા જે UI ડિસ્પ્લે કરાવવાની છે એ કઈ ડિસ્પ્લે કરવાની, તો ધેટ યુ સેટ યુઝિંગ ધી સેટ કન્ટેન્ટ વ્યૂ. તમારે જે બી UI રાખવાની હોય એ આવી રીતે રાખી શકાય. અને આ ફાઇલ એકચ્યુઅલી ધીસ ઇઝ ધ ફાઇલ હિયર યુ કોડ ફોર યોર ડિઝાઇનિંગ. અહીંયા આગળ તમારે જેટલા બી વ્યૂઝ મૂકવા છે, બટન્સ, શું કહેવાય, રેડિયો બટન, ટોગલ બટન, સ્વિચીસ એક્સેટ્રા, જે બી વસ્તુ તમારે મૂકવું છે એ બધી વસ્તુ યુ કેન પુટ ધેમ ઓવર હિયર. Now you can see that in set content view it is divided into three parts. Again it is r dot layout dot activity main. Now all the three things have their own significance. We have an r dot java file in Android. તમને એન્ડ્રોઈડના એસડીપી વાળા સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ એવું કીધું હશે કે ભાઈ આર ફાઇલ કરપ્ટ થઈ જાય તો પછી બહુ પ્રોબ્લેમ થઈ જાય ને આ ને તે ને એવું બધું ઇશ્યુઝ આવે, ઘણા બધા એવું કીધું હશે. So what do you mean by the R file? Now R file is a something that is a mapping file that defines ke related to this Java thing, this XML thing is related. Like XML ફાઇલ ની અંદર તમે કોઈ ટેક્સ્ટ વ્યૂ મૂક્યું છે, કોઈ લેબલ બનાવ્યું છે, તો એના રિલેટેડ જાવા ની અંદર કયો ઓબ્જેક્ટ છે, તો ઈ બે નું જે મેપિંગ થશે એ આખું મેપિંગ જે છે એ આર ફાઇલ ની અંદર થશે. બધી જ વસ્તુ બેઝડ ઓન ધેર આઈડી થશે. આપણે આર ફાઇલ જોઈએ તો આપણને ખબર ન પડે કે આ શું કરેલું છે, પણ એની અંદર એકચ્યુઅલી મેપિંગ એવું થતું હોય. એટલે હું તમને શું કહેવા માંગુ છું કે for example we have this file main activity.java, right? Now as for the main activity.java we want to show the UI of this file. So how do you refer that? તો કે r વાળી ફાઇલ માંથી અગેન ધીસ ઇઝ અ લેઆઉટ ફાઇલ, એટલા માટે આવ્યું ડોટ લેઆઉટ. ક્યાંથી આવ્યું? તો કે આ જે લેઆઉટ વાળો ફોલ્ડર છે એને આપણે રેફર કરીએ છીએ. એટલે લેઆઉટ ફોલ્ડર નું એક્ટિવિટી અંડરસ્કોર મેઇન ની આપણે વાત કરીએ છીએ. So this is how the things work. This is the way they get interacted to each other. I mean .xml file is something different and .java file is you're different. So how do they actually connect? So they connect using the R file. The R file is the main mapping file that we have over here. Now we are similar with the working of Java. તો આ તો તમને ખબર હશે જ કે ભાઈ everything that you import would be listed over here, and from here your actual class starts. But અહીંયાથી ચેન્જ થાય છે એન્ડ્રોઈડમાં. ક્યાંથી? તો કે this is a public class main activity. અહીંયા સુધી તમારો ક્લાસ હતો, but when you extend it with an activity, you can either extend an activity or a blank activity or anything, any kind of activity. But I would suggest you use this only, that is the app compat activity. Now this app compat activity is something that is a type of activity with an action bar, so that you can get done access to all those back button and the overflow menu that we have over here. Now if you go and click over this thing, now for that you have to use the control. When you click on the control, you can see a line over here and your pointer changes to the hand tool, and when you go and click over that, it would be executed and you will be seeing a whole different class over here. Now this is a public class app compat activity. Now again it extends a lots of things. See, it extends fragment activity and it implements different interfaces, that is the app compat callbacks, the task stack builder, the support parent table, action bar, drawable toggle, etc. There are lots of things that are implemented over here or extended by this. Now again if you go and you want to see what the fragment activity contains, you can just simply go and click on the control and you can see this thing. And when you click at this point, you can again see that fragment activity is again extended by something called component activity, and again it implements a lots of interfaces over here. Now all these codes are something that I told that you get a support of the predefined or the native Android code that we call So these are all the native Android code. Again, if you want to see, then you can click over this component activity, and it will be again, you can see that there are, it again implements something called androidax.core.app.component activity, and it also implements the lifecycle owner, the view model, the saved strat, etc. Again, lots of interfaces over here. So if you go on clicking, will get different activities or the different classes that are implemented by it, and you can do it yourself. But this is what I'm trying to say. Now, because I'm using the app compat activity, I can get the access of the methods and the variables that are defined in this particular activity. And the most important thing that I have to use is the on create. I told you, I mean, we discussed about the life cycle of an activity yesterday, and we saw that we have a method called on create. Now, this on create method is actually defined in the app compat activity class, and we are just going to use it. So we override this. We use the on create method, and by default we get these things listed out. And here we define what content view we want. So this is how you define the content of your app. Like, this is what you want to show. And right now for the content, I have only two things. That is, the first thing is the container, and for container I would like to change it to a relative layout. I'll tell you what does all these things mean, but just a minute. Now, say for example, I'm using a relative layout, and so I will need to mention the things over here. So what do you mean by relative layout and etc.? So if you can see over here, now this is there. Here you can get three different views of an XML file. Either you can see only code, either you can see only design, or if you want to see both the things, you can use split. This is how you split your XML file. Now here you can see the code for the XML file, and this is the thing where you can see uh, the designing portion of the thing. Now, whatever you want to put here, there are different kinds of views that you can use, so that you get from the palette. Now, this is the palette. You go and click over here, you will see that this is the palette. Now, in this palette, again, there are different things that have been listed. Like, these are the common views that we will be using in our project. So these are the common views. Then we have text. So there are different kinds of text views also, based on your requirement. Like, if you want simply a text, then you can use a plain text. If you want to use a password wherein you don't the user can only see the dots whenever you are typing, so that for that you can use a password. If you want to use a numeric password, so for that you have a different thing. For email, for phone, what does this thing actually do is, if you select email, so you'll get a keyboard with the @ and the .com keys on it at that time if you're using an email. If you're using a phone, then you will get only the numeric keypad in your keypad whenever you are going to type in that thing. So this is how these things differ. Then we have something called buttons. So for buttons, we have different kinds of buttons. We have a button, we have an image button, that is, it looks like an image, but you can go and click and perform activities on it. We have a chip group, we have a chip, we have a checkbox, we have a radio button, we have a radio group, we have a toggle button, we have a switch, we have a floating action button, etc. Then we have the different widgets. Like, we can have a view is something that you can use to simply leave a space or something. The next thing that we have over here is the image view. For image view is again something wherein you can just show your image. Again, you can do the code where that when you go and click on the image, you can perform different activities. Even you can do that also. The next thing that we have is the web view. If you want to show a particular URL, you have some URL in it, and if you want to show that URL somewhere, then you can use the web view. Then we have a video view. Video view is something wherein you can display the videos, or you can stream the video over your screen using a video view. Then you have a calendar view, a progress bar horizontal. Now the progress bar is something that the circle progress bar that you can see, please wait, and the circle is going on roaming, I mean keeps on circulating. So that is a progress bar. And the progress bar horizontal is something that that you can use, that you can see whenever you are, suppose you are opening some files or something, or you, and when you are clicking on some link in Google, then you can see a green line or a blue line occupying the whole width or something. So that is the progress bar horizontal, with which you can show the progress of a particular activity that is going on. Then we have a sig bar. Now sig bar is something that you use for the brightness purpose or the audio purpose in your phone. I mean, with it you can control how much brightness you want in your phone, or how much or music volume you want in your phone. Similarly, we have a rating bar, a search view, etc. These are all the different types of views that Android predefined gives you, and you can use it. Okay, the next important thing is the layouts. Now you must be aware that you cannot just directly put the views as it is in Android, or anything. I mean, you need some kind of a container that can contain all those views. So the containers in Android are called the layouts. We have different layouts available, and we will put all these things, that is the things that we saw, that is the text, the buttons, the widgets, we can put all these views inside a layout. I mean, you need to get first a layout, and then you can put all those things inside it. તમે એવું સમજો કે લેઆઉટ જે છે ને એ શું છે, કન્ટેનર જેવું છે, જેની અંદર આપણે બીજા બધી વસ્તુઓ મૂકશું, કે ભાઈ એડિટ ટેક્સ્ટ મૂક્યું છે, ટેક્સ્ટ વ્યૂ મૂક્યું, બટન મૂક્યું, કે કોઈ પણ વસ્તુ જે બી તમારે મૂકવું છે એ તમે એઝ ઇટ ઇઝ નહીં મૂકી શકો. એના માટે યુ નીડ અ કન્ટેનર, કે જે, અને that container are the layouts. So we have different kinds of layouts over here, like the constraint layout, the guideline, the linear layout, the relative layout, a frame layout, table layout, etc. Now, this all the layouts have their own significance and they work in their own way. Say, for example, if we have a constraint layout is something that will be working based on the constraints. કે કઈ તમારી મેન જે શું કહેવાય સ્ક્રીનની જે width એન્ડ હાઇટ છે એને કન્સ્ટ્રેન કરીને મતલબ કે conditionally એ વસ્તુ વર્ક કરે. So that is called the constraint layout. Then we have a linear layout. Linear layout is a very easy thing if you want to start learning Android. So it is something કે જે આઈધર તમે જેટલી બી વસ્તુ આની અંદર પુટ કરશો એ બધીને યા ફિર હોરિઝોન્ટલી પ્લેસ કરશે યા ફિર વર્ટિકલી પ્લેસ કરશે. And for that you have to use a particular attribute called the orientation. In orientation, you need to mention either you want to put the things inside it horizontally or you want to put them vertically. So that is how the linear layout works. Then we also have a relative layout. So what is a relative layout? A relative layout is something that will start putting each and every view from the top left corner. From the top, all the views that you put will be put on the top left corner. The second thing that you put will also be put on the top left corner. So if you want to arrange them, you need to mention based on the hierarchy. Say for example, the first thing that you are putting is a text view, so that will be put at the top left corner, right? So the next thing that you will be putting with reference to the text view. Say for example, I want to use two text view in that screen, then I have to mention the second text view that I'm going to put, I'll be putting it below it, to the right of it, to the left of it, on the top of it, etc. So these are the different ways that you can relate. I mean, though all the views that you will be using, that will be based on the relation. તમારે કેવું પડશે કે કયું વ્યૂ છે એ પહેલા સૌથી પહેલું જે વ્યૂ મૂક્યું એના હિસાબથી ક્યાં આગળ પાછળ કઈ જગ્યાએ મૂકવું છે એવી રીતે તમારે મેન્શન કરવું પડશે. ટૂંકમાં રિલેટિવલી વર્ક કરશે બંને જેટલા બી વ્યૂઝ હશે એ બધા. સો દેટ ઇઝ વાય ઇટ્સ કોલ્ડ અ રિલેટિવ layout. Then we have a frame layout. So frame layout is something wherein you can put the things such that કે એકબીજાની ઉપર આખું સ્ટેક જેવું બને. You must have seen what is a stack. When you put different things over in a stack, you will be seeing that all those things will be put over each other. So that is called a frame layout. That is how the things will be arranged in a frame layout. Then we have a table layout. Again, a table layout is something wherein you can put things in a table. Similarly, we have a table row if you want only a row, all those things. So these are the different kinds of layouts that we have. And the others are the added things that you can use as per your requirements. Okay, so this is how the XML file is, and how there are the different views that you have. Now all those views we will be learning in detail in, I guess, third chapter or something. આ બધી વસ્તુ ડિટેલમાં છે હજી કે વોટ ઇઝ અ ટેક્સ્ટ વ્યૂ, હાઉ ટુ યુ રાઇટ અ ટેક્સ્ટ વ્યૂ એક્સેટ્રા. પણ અત્યારે જસ્ટ બેઝિક ઇન્ટ્રોડક્શન છે. So this is the overall IDE or the Android Studio view that you have. અને એના અંદર એ તે મેઇનલી આપણે જેની વાત કરતા હતા ઓન ક્રિએટિંગ. ઓકે, મેં ગઈકાલે તમને એવું કીધું હતું કે વી હેવ ડિફરન્ટ મેથડ્સ for what do you call, for the life cycle. So I'm going to show you that thing કે ભાઈ આઈ એમ ગોઈંગ ટુ રાઇટ ઓલ ધી મેથડ્સ ધેટ વી હેવ. આઈ હોપ તમને લોકોને યાદ છે. મને મેથડ્સ લખી દો તો જરાક. મેં તમને ગઈકાલે બહુ બધી મેથડ્સ કીધી હતી કે એક્ટિવિટી લાઈફ સાયકલની ધેર આર ડિફરન્ટ મેથડ્સ. સો આઈ વોન્ટ ટુ નો ઇફ યુ ગાઈઝ રિમેમ્બર ધ નેમ ઓફ ધોઝ એક્ટિવિટીઝ. Okay, correct. So these are the different life, what do you call, life cycle of an activity, and I will be showing you how do they actually work. Okay, so we'll be implementing each and every. Now by default we have an on create method, and yesterday we saw that on create method is implemented only once. So now we are going to write the on start method, right? So this is how you write. Okay, I have this on start method. Okay, the next method that I want to use is on. I am getting all this method over here only. Now I have on resume method. Then I want to use on pause method. Then I want to use. Now remember one thing. I hope you are clear. You know that once a particular method ends, after that only you can implement another method. See, for example, here this is the starting of my class, and the class is ending here. But my on create method is started from here and it's ending over here. This is the on create method is completed over here. After that I am mentioning each and every method. Say for example, this is on start, on resume. On start is again completed or over here. This is on start is completed over here. Then I'm writing the on resume method, and then I'm writing the on pause method, and then I am writing the on stop method, and this on stop method is completed over here. And then finally I'm writing the on destroy method. So this is how the all the methods are written. Now we wanted to see how do they actually work. I mean, how the how what can we see in the logs and all. So yesterday I told you about the logs. Now logs is something that is a tool that we use for debugging. So we want to see how each and everything is executed. We'll be simply writing this logs. Now for writing a log, this is the way you write a log. See, for example, this is log, so that will be imported. Again, this is a class, so this will be imported. And then we have different versions of it. We have log.d, log.e, log.i, log.v. So there are different ways you can use a log. If you want to know where does a log appear, so this is where the log will appear. This is called a log cat. This is the log cat, and this is how the log cat looks. So here you can see what are the different kinds of log. This all have different significance. I mean, it's not necessary that you have to write them accordingly only, but based on that you can see different colors of the log that you see. If you use a log debug, that you can see log debug, or say for log info, if you are using a green color thing. For log error you can see a red color thing. For log verbose you can see a black color output, etc. So this is the place where you can see the logs, and this is how the actually thing works. So we'll be writing a log for each and everything. Say for example, we have a log called on here this way, and in a log the first thing that you will be writing is a tag. And the second thing that is you want the whatever you write would be a message. Say for example, this is for the on create. Now I want to write a log in start. So I'm going to simply go and copy this thing. I want to keep the tag as it is, and I will be just changing here from on create to on start because I want to see, I want to mention that this is the log from on start method. Now I'm again going to put it here, and here I'm going to change on resume. So I'll be writing here on resume so that I can identify that this is the log from on resume method. Again, I'm going to just go and paste it over here, and I'm going to change this from create to pause because this is the log from the on pause method. Again, this is the log from on stop method. And finally, this is the log from on destroy method. So so this is how I am going to mention the things over here. Now, whenever I'm going to execute this thing, I don't have anything in my designing portion. It is simply written that text view and it says hello world. See for example, this is the way my app looks like. So I don't have anything written over here, but mainly I'm concerned with is with the way, I mean the logs that we want to see, and all those logs will be seen over here. So I'm just simply going to run my app. So I'm just running this thing, and I'll be clearing this logcat so we can see the fresh output of everything. This logcat will be showing you different, I mean outputs of the logs of everything. If you have multiple apps running, so you can see about that also. See, we can see the logs over here. Now when you want to see only the logs of your particular thing, you can simply use the tag. Say for example, I have used the tag method, so I'm going to this simply go and paste it over here in the search thing. So I'll get only the tags with the, sorry, only the logs with the tag called method. So by whenever I'm running this thing, I get the on create method, then it is on start and on resume. If you want to show the output of the screen, just a minute, give me, I'll just stop sharing this screen and share that screen. See, this is the emulator. This is the emulator, and because in my app I have only put a text view with hello world written over there. So this is the whole thing that you can see here. And up till this point, I mean up till now, the three methods have been executed. That is on create, then you saw on start, and finally the thing that you saw was on resume. Okay, now I am just simply going to click a back button over here, and now I am going to show you the output in the logcat. Now see here. So this is the output in my log, and this is the way all these methods are executed, and in this form only. So whenever my application is launched, the first method that is called is on create method, and then it starts the on start method. Then we have on resume method. Then when I clicked on the back button, it triggered the on pause method. Then it stopped that activity, and finally it destroyed the activity. So this is how the whole thing works. And the important thing that to remember over here is how to use a log. You need to learn how to use a log because this is the only way we can debug. I mean, there are lots of ways, but this is the easiest way you can use to debug your app. Clear with this? See, when I remove the tag, you can see all the logs over here. I mean, then you have to find out, like here we have our logs and the other logs are over here, but using the tag simply get the you can simply get the tags of our own application, or the, what do you call, the tags that we have that have mentioned this, the logs that have mentioned a tag called method. So this is how the logs work, and this is how all these methods are executed. I hope you are clear with all these things up till now. Now again I want to show you something, that whenever I'm going to change this hello world to, say for example, I'm writing over here hello Android, and then we'll be seeing when I'm going to again execute this thing, and I'll be showing the changes in the app. See for example, I've run this app from here, and now I'm going to show you this. See here in my emulator it is changed to hello Android over here. Clear? So this is how the things work, and this is the first, I mean the first basic case, the basic thing that you learn, that is hello world, and this is how the hello Android executes in Android. See આ બધી વસ્તુ છે ને સમજમાં આવી બધાને, ક્લિયર થયું બધાને, what I told you, what you saw, what did you understand, etc, everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today we discussed about the the UI that, sorry, the IDE that we have. That is, I told you about the different folders that we have over here, the packages that we have over here, the images file where you are going to put it. I showed you the reference. I mean, how do you reference that particular thing? Then we saw the Hello Android app over. I mean, actually executed in your in the emulator. Clear, everyone? Okay.